everyone! Welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we're going to be reading into the energy, insights, and guidance coming in for your week ahead. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so welcome back to each of you who join me for these weekly readings every single Monday. You guys know who you are. I say it every week because I truly do appreciate your guys' support coming in every week. And to those of you who are new, welcome to the channel. I do weekly readings like this every single Monday. I also do readings on your monthly blessings that you can check out, as well as timeless readings that I'm still sort of bulking up, but we have ones up on your spiritual and magical gifts and abilities, as well as what you're proud of. But if you're interested in any of that, please be sure and consider subscribing. I'd love to have you guys join this community of tarot loving, oracle loving, charm loving people. And I'd love to have you guys join in if you are interested. So please be sure to and hit the notification bell as well to be sure that you're notified of each of these videos as they come out in real time so you don't miss out. But with that, let's go ahead and look at these piles. Alright, so for pile number 1, we have here a little tiny travel Rosemary bundle because I sort of decided to use things that are in my mini travel altar. So if you're interested in learning more about what is in here specifically, you can check it out on a reel that is on my Instagram. So that is available to you guys if you're interested in some of that behind the scenes stuff, as well as some impromptu readings that you can see there. But in that, I do have a little tiny bundle of rosemary, as well as this little crystal point of clear quartz. And I also did include runes again in this reading, which I did way back in September, so some of you guys might remember that. But I wanted to utilize them again, so these might have to do with your readings, they might not, but I do educate you guys on each specific rune when you get to your pile, so that's something you guys could check out if you're interested. But this is the rune of Ansuz, so that is pile number 1. And for pile number 2, we have this little handmade double-sided pendulum board for on the go. So if you're interested in that, that is pile number 2 alongside the rune of Mannaz. So there is pile number 2. And then lastly here we have Dagaz as your rune, as well as this rope or twine. And then we also have here for pile number 3 a mini little toothpick wand, which actually is like a very, very small version of my much larger wand that I created. So look at how cute it is. It's so cute. Anyway, I'm getting like into myself there, but that is pile number 3. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here so you can make a better decision on which pile is for you and utilize your intuition. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together now. As always, you can choose all 3 piles, 1 of the piles, 2 of the piles. You can flip back and forth. You can do whatever you like, whatever your intuition calls you to do, as I sometimes find that 2 piles will resonate with me, or there's a bit from each of them, or whatever. You might even pop in just to check out the runes if you're interested in learning more about each of them, as I talk more on each of them within those specific piles. But as always, there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you already know which pile is for you, feel free to go down in the description below where you can find a lot of wonderful, helpful links, the different supplies that I used, and you can also find the timestamps. You'll also be able to find my Instagram down there below, like I mentioned before, so you can maybe see more on some of the items on this pile, as well as impromptu readings that I do. And you can also, lastly, continue to support this channel if you're interested in doing so, and if you have the means. Please, only if you have the means and you would like to, but you can donate to this channel as well to continue to support me so I can continue to update equipment and find more ways to continue to make this experience better for each of you. So If you're interested in looking at any of that, that'll be down below. You can also find the timestamps within the chapter marks in the video itself. So if you are ready and have decided on your pile, we will go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello Group 1, if you've decided to choose this Rosemary bundle as well as this piece of clear quartz and the rune of Ansuz here, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to set them down over here, but the last time I did runes, I did state that I wasn't going to utilize them for actual divination, but I still think it's important to at least let you guys know in case it does have something to do with your specific pile or you specifically. I'm probably not going to read into it, but I just wanted to at least let you guys know a little bit more about this specific rune, using my trusty little book here that I write down all the different runes in. And Ansuz here looks like this. It's like a downwards F. It means antenna, or that's like the main one. That's how I kind of think of it, as an antenna, which is a symbol of communication, wisdom, knowledge, signals, written word, shared conversation, and thoughts. So that's just a little bit of information on this specific rune that you guys chose here today. So read into it as you feel necessary. But we're going to go ahead and get started, as today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as the Celtic Lenormand cards, the spellcasting oracle. And I've not yet used this deck on camera yet, but this is the Lion Strider Tarot. It took me a while I've had this deck since like July, but it's taken me a while to really connect to this deck, but now we're like besties, so I just wanted to start utilizing it here for you guys today. And let's see what messages you have coming in for your week. Group 1. So group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 1's week ahead. Any kind of energy, sort of balancing that we need done, anything possibly to do with communication in this case for group 1. All right, so here you have the Two of Swords. Let's see what else you have coming in. So group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance for group 1. Anything we need to know for their week. You also have here the Chariot. Wow, I'm definitely sensing a theme here. Let's see your final tarot card for this specific reading here today. So group 1. I have 2 in my head now because you have so many 2s sort of happening here with the 2 horses and the 2 swords. But we're looking for group 1. All right, and you also have the King of Swords. Okay, so I was going to say I wasn't going to go off this rune, but you're having both the King of Swords, the Two of Swords, and then the Chariot here, which is really having a lot to do with the swords. And swords are all about air energy, and air energy is hugely a sign or a element of communication. So to have that popping in and then having the 2 swords, there's a reason you're here at this pile here today. So let's go ahead and get some more information. So group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 1's week ahead. You also, I can't believe it, you also have the owls, which is it is all about communication, the way that you communicate. So we'll speak even more on that one in a moment. Oh my goodness, and the crescent moon. You guys, wow, I'm really vibing with your pile here today. Let's see what else you have coming in. So group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 1. What do we need to know about group 1? Ooh, might take them both, honestly. Okay, so here you have both boundaries and clarity here. Okay, let me see how I want to arrange this here so you can see everything. There we go. And then the last thing I'm going to pull here today is from the watercolor affirmations, but stay tuned later in the video. I will be doing your charms, which are always really fun, so stay tuned for those. But group one, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group one. Yee, that one was like stuck to my fingers. And you also have here, honesty is the best policy. So it's all about being truthful, honest, definitely connecting with that clarity there. So let's go ahead and unpack what we have here for you today. So like I was stating earlier, you guys have lots of elements that are really aligning visually for me, because you've got this double happening here. So you have the boundaries here with the infinity sign, which has the double right there. This like two side of a situation. On top of that, you have the two of swords, which have both the swords, and then you have the chariot, which is sort of split here, showcasing an indecisive energy, trying to sort of balance between there. And then what I think is interesting here is that on the two of swords, you have this crescent moon, and you have this crescent moon over here. So there's sort of something aligning with the crescent moon, which I'd be interested to see if anything comes in on your crescent moons here of the last and first, because the charms sometimes will fall on some of the moon phases. So we'll see if anything comes up there. But what's important to note about a crescent moon is they are all about the end, heading towards the end of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle. So in this case, you have it on the beginning, because on both sides it's sort of, or at least for the people in the northern hemisphere, it would be a beginning. But to those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, it would be flipped because of the way that the moon cycles are on the two sides of the earth. But those of you in the southern hemisphere, you'd be getting more of a message here of sort of hitting the end of a cycle. So putting something to rest, something that needs put to rest. And then something on the beginning side would be the northern hemisphere, having to do with that crescent moon. So you're probably beginning or ending something this week. And let's talk about this chariot alongside this King of Swords. So the King of Swords is a very honest, truthful king. He is very intelligent, has a lot of facts. Like, you'd be the type of person this week checking your facts, really going through and analytically looking at things, being very responsible, getting things done that way. The King of Swords leads based off of his mind versus his emotions. And then you have the Chariot, which is a very powerful energy. It showcases that once you get moving, you are unstoppable. You have so much force. You can carry such a load. But the thing is, to get these horses moving, to choose a direction, you have to use there's this like whole little thing happening here, showcasing like indecision, not really sure what to do. Everything's kind of chaotic. And that's why I think you need to use this King of Swords energy to make a movement, because the Two of Swords also showcases indecision. It showcases two different directions you could go, and the swords represent logic and communication. So maybe you need to communicate with someone who might be of this King of Swords energy in your life. So that could be someone who is possibly more on the masculine side, but it doesn't have to be. And you might want to confide with them to make this decision this week, to maybe help you look through these different facts. There's nothing wrong with asking for help for that. But there could be also that you just need to evoke some of this within you. Utilize that power. Maybe you are sort of shying away or blinding yourself from the facts, right? You're not really looking at them. You're skating around them. You're not wanting to look at it. You're not wanting to do the research. And that can be due to, being scared or having a block, especially with that boundaries card here. So you might just be holding yourself back, putting up boundaries so that you can't move forward, especially since I was seeing that double here. So I feel like they really connect. So I see that you are trying to communicate an idea. You're trying to communicate that you want to move forward in something. That could be creatively, that could be logically, just making a step forward. It could be in any facet of your life, but it is a pretty big decision, I feel like. It's not something that's going to be small. It's something that you want to communicate. It could be something to do with even having a difficult conversation, possibly with someone. But I think when you gain that clarity this week, that's when everything's going to align again for you, because you have so much that you can learn, but you have to look to the center, you have to find and clarify things for yourself, because you have too many questions and not enough answers, and you're putting up these boundaries, these walls from finding those answers. So be honest with yourself, find why you're holding yourself back, why there is even that block. Because I think by making this decision, no matter what way you do, either that could be a decision to end something or a decision to begin something, but you're sort of holding back your personal power here, and you're holding back your way of becoming a wiser person like these owls are. You're ready to move to the next step, and you're not allowing yourself to, because you're holding on to something from the past or something that is unreachable for whatever reason. So that's sort of what I'm getting from your cards here. It's mostly just showcasing to communicate to yourself, communicate possibly to other people, to find that clarity this week, because there's something that's going to be clarified. If you feel like there's something that's just been, indecisive, back and forth, not really making a decision, this is the week that's going to come forward, and it's going to be communicated. And I just noticed also you have all these little birds happening inside here, which birds are all about flight, moving forward, that inner power, but they're also about communication and working as a team. So again, working with other people and taking down some of these boundaries within yourself is important. But let's go ahead and move on to your charms, group 1. You have such an interesting pile. I love when things line up so smoothly. It makes it not only easier, but more sort of fun to see the visuals that happen. But like I said, let's go ahead and start in with these charms. So group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 1 week ahead. Any information, energy, insights, or guidance for group 1. Okay. I knew I had one that fell on the ground, so I'm going to pick up the ones that fell outwardly, but I'm going to leave this one in only because you had sort of a Taurus energy, a Taurus energy falling upside down, but it also fell over here because that is a Taurus charm. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that in. It felt relevant, especially since we were talking about those, the beginning and endings here. So I'm going to pick up the ones that fell off the board and upside down and sort of rifle through what might be happening over there so we can get more information. Okay. So yeah, that one was upside down. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in so you can look at these charms and see all of what there is here. Nothing is cut off, so don't worry about that. But I am going to go ahead because as I read from the center out most of the time. So this is sort of the inner circles, the things that are most prominent in your week. And you have here the solar plexus. So I'm going to pull out my Chakra Love deck here. It's like my trusty little deck that I pull out for anytime that one of these chakra charms fall out. So I'm going to pull out just that specific chakra and see what that message is for you. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled these out in case you guys aren't familiar with chakras. It's basically energy systems that we balance throughout our bodies and that can go in balance or out of balance. So we're going to see sort of what is coming up in terms of the solar plexus, which is the chakra just above your belly button, having to do with confidence and your ego and your inner or your outer kind of presence to the world. So let's see what you have coming in group 1 for your solar plexus chakra. What do we need to know about group 1's solar plexus chakra this week? All right, so here you have fearlessness for the solar plexus chakra. This is what it kind of looks like. And you have amber. So amber is a specific stone, or it's not really even a stone amber, but it is a crystalline structure that you can utilize for your crystal healing if you utilize crystals. If not, you can ignore that message. But you have fearlessness. Turn your warrior into a warrior. And that is exactly what I've been talking about this whole entire time. There is something that is troubling you, something you've been holding yourself back from, that you've been fearing, possibly putting up these boundaries, these walls, so you don't have to face it. And with the King of Swords, he faces things directly. And the Chariot is very direct once the direction is made, as well as the Owls. So I just feel like there's something that you've been worrying about, something that maybe even is just like on your mind constantly, and you're just trying to block it out. And what's going to help you is just making that decision. You're going to feel so much better. And it's going to put so much more power in your pocket, right? You're going to have that Chariot energy. So you have that happening, and next to that you have both the lock, which means that you feel like you've locked yourself up, you have those boundaries, and right next to it you also have Aries, which has courageous here. So this could be an Aries coming in to help you out, or it could be that you are an Aries in your sun, moon, or rising sign. But seeing as it fell this way, it's more of an oracle message or a message from the energy of Aries. And you have here courageous. So it's time to unlock that. It's time to be more courageous, to turn that warrior into a warrior. That is your main message this week. To speak more on the zodiacs, I'm going to go ahead and move just quickly to the outer circle here with the moon cycle. So I read more on about the moon cycles here and what they fall on. So like I was stating earlier, you had those two crescent moons with the Owls here and the Two of Swords. So I think that they're, depending on which part of the world you're at, there could be a beginning or an ending happening, but because it fell on the one that is in the northern hemisphere, at least a beginning for me. I'm not exactly sure how it works in the southern hemisphere, so you can sort of look at this specific one and make that decision there. But you have Taurus. So Taurus energy is about creating stability, and I think that someone else could also be coming in that is a Taurus in their sun, moon, or rising sign, seeing as it didn't really fall on the oracle side and fell more on the Taurus side here. So I feel like there could be someone coming in. It could have to do with all of this that we've been talking about, especially with that. So I think they could be very wise, very stable to come in and help you, because the Owls are all about wise energy. Oh, I just realized when I usually first show these, I tell you at least the numbers here so that you are aware. But we have the 7 of diamonds down there, as well as the number 12. So that might resonate with some of you. Speaking more on the moon cycles here, you also have right before the the full moon rather, the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is all about something coming in of a new beginning in your career, your finances. Maybe there's some new opportunity that's happening within that is being offered to you, some sort of new material good, possibly even gifts coming in, being offered to you, or you offering to someone else. But seeing as you had all this indecision, I feel like someone's coming in to offer that to you, possibly even a Taurus. And this is happening more towards the full moon next for you, so that's something to keep in mind. But the full moon also the waxing gibbous here represents the moon of basically clarity or clearing things up, because this is the new moon, new cycle coming in, putting action to your ideas, and this is refinement. This is like the 8 of Pentacles. This is like trying to refine things back down. So once you get this new opportunity, that's when things can start to have that research come in, have that learning come in, have that clarity come in, and I just think that things are going to get cleared up as the cycle goes on. So before I keep talking too much on that, we also have at the last quarter moon, which is all about releasing something. And you have here the number 7. So this could be something very specific to you, a birthday, something that is in your life path number, or something like that. But whatever you are releasing has something to do with the number 7. And also 7 for me specifically represents introspection, uniqueness, something like that. So that might be something to read in personally for each of you. You also have a huge cluster over here, which I want to make sure to talk about. And this is the paperclip, which represents temporary energy, something that is temporary because you're holding something together temporarily. You don't want to staple it. It's not that intense. It's something that isn't going to last too long. So some of what's happening near this temporary energy, you have the letter L. So this could be someone's name. It could be someone coming in, like I was stating with that Taurus energy or the Aries. But you have the letter L here, so again, that can relate to anyone in your life, or it could relate to a street name. It could be something very specific or something very obscure. But next to that, you have like two sides of the temporary energy, and one side of it showcases sort of shedding things away, because you have here the snake, and the snake can represent direction, like that chariot, being very direct, having a focus, being very like, and I'm just gonna go for it. But it also, snakes shed their skin, so I feel like, again, it's that which side of the world you're on, depending. But a new beginning has to start with having that focus as well as an ending to release something. So it's time to have some of that focus come in, utilizing that energy. You also have on this side the ladybug. So the ladybug represents innocence to me, the fool energy almost. They just fly around, they stick to anything, they do what they want. You know, they have luck, and there's belief to them. They have so many different signs to them. So I feel like next to the snake, I feel like that is showcasing to me that there could be very direct signs coming in for you, possibly even having to do with that number 7. But there's signs possibly coming in from spirit guides or your spiritual team or anything like that, ancestors, whatever you believe in. There could be signs coming in. And also, just to be more playful, be more innocent, let some of that worry kind of fall away, because once you look at all the facts, no matter what, it's still going to be just be more playful. You don't have to be so driven mad by all of the facts. There's a little bit of like showcasing that no matter what, the facts are going to change. Those things are going to change. So, just play around with it. And lastly, we had those boundaries, right? So here was those boundaries once again. And with that boundary card, I think that has a lot to do with, again, not communicating with someone how you're feeling or what you're doing with this decision that you're wanting to make. You're keeping it all to yourself. And this represents that you're not listening. You put your headphones on. You're not letting anyone see anything. You're not flourishing. You're not growing. And again, that falls next to the L. So definitely speak to someone possibly having to do with the L, and make sure that not only are you communicating, but you're listening clearly to what they have to say with that clarity. And lastly, here you have the budding. They're like little budding, like springtime energies. So this can represent gardening, like in a more literal sense, that you might be gardening this week, but it also can just represent that it's a budding new idea, a new, foolish, exciting adventure. And then you also have here, lastly, the letter X. So you had both X and L this reading, as well as 7. So, if I can get this to stay down, I'm going to go ahead and quickly recap here for your week group 1. It's pretty clear, like literally pretty clear, that you just have something you're holding yourself back from. You're being more of a worrier versus a warrior. You're not letting yourself empower yourself with this exciting new idea, because you've been holding yourself back from the truth, holding yourself back from being honest with yourself, holding yourself back from communicating with other people. This could be all 3 of those, or 1 of those, or 2, whatever resonates. But there's definitely someone or yourself coming in to sort of knock some sense in, to knock some analytical, logical facts in, so you can be growing and becoming more wise. You also might have a Taurus or an Aries coming in. You had the number 7, X, and L for your letters here. The Ace of Pentacles is showcasing that you're going to be refining some new opportunities that are coming in and becoming more fearless and courageous this week. So really utilize that energy, group 1. I'm super excited for you guys. I had so much fun reading. for you. Please let me know in the comments down below how you felt this reading went, how it resonated, if there were specific charms that really stuck out to you, possibly even if this specific rune had anything to do for you specifically. I'd love to know. I'm always so curious and appreciate the feedback. Also, be sure to like this video if you did like this reading. I really do appreciate it, as it not only lets me know that you liked this reading, but also that it truly does help this channel as it grows. So I really appreciate those who have liked the video so far. And lastly, if you are new to the channel, I do weekly readings like this every single Monday, as well as monthly readings and timeless readings that you can check out. So feel free to check those out, and also please consider subscribing so you can join this community of wonderful, spiritual, magical, and just tarot loving people. So thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you guys a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye! Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this specific rune of Mannaz, as well as this pendulum board, this portable pendulum board that I made for my travel kit, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set that down here for you, but I also, the last time I did runes on my channel, I didn't actually utilize them for my readings because they can be a little bit loud, and I pulled them out, and so I feel like you're sort of influenced based off of the runes that you see. So you can utilize this in your reading, or you can utilize it without if you already know what runes are about. But I'm going to go ahead and teach you what this specific rune means real quick in case it resonates for you in my trusty little rune book that I made. So here you have Mannaz, which means mankind, humanity, our differences, our similarities, culture, the whole, and the social structure. So it's very much about society, bigger ideas than just yourself. So that is just a little message for you guys in case you were interested, and at the very least, a little education on runes. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as the Celtic Lenormand deck, the spellcasting oracle, and we're also going to be using this line strider deck, which I've had since July but haven't actually utilized on this channel until today. So it's first time on the channel, which is really exciting because it just took me a while to resonate with this deck. It just took me a while to really learn about it and grasp its energy, but now we're working just fine, so that's really exciting. I'm glad that we've gotten to this point. So anyway, I'm blabbering on. Let's go ahead and start looking into your week, Group 2. So, Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2. Any information, energy, or guidance that we need to know. Group 2. What do we need to know about Group 2? Alright, so I was feeling the Wheel of Fortune here. Let's see what else you have coming in. So Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2. So this one just flew into my lap. Really wanted to be known, and that is the Hierophant here. So let's see your next card. So Group 2. You also have here the Page of Swords. So that rounds off those. Let's go ahead and see what else you have coming in with the Celtic Lenormand. So Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance for Group 2. What do we need to know about Group 2? So here you have the more royal looking woman here. And to go along with these cards, they also have different numbers. So these might just resonate personally with some of you, and that is the number 29, as well as the Ace of Spades, or the Ace of Swords. So there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you a spellcasting oracle card here real quick. So Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2. Alright, you also have here Trust. There you go with Trust. I honestly am feeling for your guys' piles. I did this with group 1 as well. I feel like you guys need 2 of these today. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you 2. So group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance. All right, so you have here also healing. That's lovely. So you have healing, trust, the woman, the Page of Swords, the Hierophant, and the Wheel of Fortune. Let's get your final message before I utilize the charms later on in the reading, so stay tuned for those. But group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 2's week ahead. The week ahead for group 2. The week ahead for group 2. All right, and lastly here you have mindset is key. So there is your final message of mindset is key. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start unpacking some of what we have here. So, okay, let's just look at this here. So we have kind of different energies happening here. So I feel like your guys' week isn't very direct in terms of the things that are going to be happening. I think there's not an overall theme is basically what I'm trying to state. I think that from what I'm seeing, you might be having somebody come in, a woman, possibly someone who maybe even to teach you on finance or things to have to do with finance or things having to do with growing a business or even just things that are more on the material goods level. So maybe even advice on gift giving, anything like that. It can be small or something very large like mentoring or apprenticeship or internships or anything like that. Because this woman isn't of the working class in terms of the different ones that come within this specific Lenormand deck. So you have here this sort of woman coming in, and the reason why I feel like she might be mentoring you or helping you out with something, there's something you're going to be learning from her, because you have the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is all about sort of mentorship, learning. It's about new knowledge. It's about growing and learning in terms of like a studious sort of way. That is the word I was looking for. I couldn't reach it. I feel like you're studying, you're learning, you're gaining new knowledge that you're very influenced to want to do. And I think that you're ready to learn because of something maybe that has happened in the past, because you have the Wheel of Fortune here, which showcases something that maybe happened that wasn't so great in the past, but you're sort of turning that wheel. The wheel of the year is turning. Things are turning back into your favor. You're gaining some of that power back, that empowerment for yourself. And you have here trust and healing, which is just showcasing to me that you're healing from something. You're having to gain trust in people around you, possibly even the people you're learning from, and how you're learning and what you're learning about. So like I said, it could be material goods based just because of the eliteness of her. But I'm also seeing here, just based off of healing and trust, it could be even a spiritual teacher or someone on a more spiritual plane here, because you have sort of these angel wings, and then because of the healing here, it's showcasing to me that you might be even looking for a therapist or somebody to talk to, someone to confide in, something like that, or you might be even learning more on things like psychology or the healing or healing practices and stuff on a more holistic way. It kind of just depends on the way that you want to go with this. But I do see that you, either because you have healed or you are currently healing from something that's you're gaining interest in wanting to learn more knowledge on something more psychological, more holistic healing, learning how to move through possibly trust problems or issues or things like that have sort of changed your mind, because you have that mindset is key card. I just see that you have healing that needs done, and you're working towards learning through that this week, because things are now on the up for you. That's really important to let you know. Things are on the up. Not saying that there won't be battles, not saying that there won't be things that can be difficult, but you're definitely learning from the things that have been difficult for you. You're growing through them. You're learning through them so that you can see the light. You can open new doors for yourself, create new opportunities, work with other people, and have leaps of faith again. Because I think that you just feel like possibly you can't have those leaps of faith, or that it's sort of frivolous, or you feel like you can't even trust yourself, possibly due to manipulation from a relationship, possibly. But you're healing from that. You're doing a lot of inner healing. And I'm not saying that that isn't work. I'm not saying that that's easy. But I do see more on that healing path for you and on the up for you. And that's really exciting. Lastly here, though, you do have the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is, as you can see, there's all these little envelopes. So there is sort of this energy of a messenger coming in. Someone bringing in messages. So this can be that you're receiving mail. You could be receiving packages. So if you've been waiting on a package, or if you've been waiting maybe on Christmas gifts coming in, or any type of holiday gift, rather, that might be something that's coming in for you guys during this holiday season. It also, with the Page of Swords, does showcase communication. The Page of Swords also can be a bit unsteady on their feet. So this can also be talking about how you're feeling maybe a little unsteady, and that's why you need to go out and learn some more on something that you're wanting to learn about. Like I said, maybe something more psychological, something more on inner healing, inner work, things, or it could be the flip side, that's more on the financial side. I feel like I'm seeing both kind of coming in there. And they might even be connected, especially if some of you are wanting to make a career out of something like that. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to your charms, group 1, so we can get some more information on what's going on, possibly where this trust may have become mistrust in yourself or others, where that healing's coming in, any other information we need to learn about. So group 2. So looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up the ones that fell upside down here, and look through those so that you can see more here. That's really interesting. I'm actually going to leave this in. I'm going to just put it over here because this is the one that, because you have a dolphin here. I actually had this one and I ended up just, for some reason, putting it back. So I just think that that's sort of a message of me needing to put back that charm. And I don't know, I'm going to talk more on that in a moment. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can see more of what's going on here. Don't worry, there are no charms missing here that you can't see. Group 2. I'm going to go ahead and right off the bat talk about these dolphins. So like I said, I had these dolphins. I threw out all and sort of chucked out all the charms, and then these dolphins for some reason were still kind of stuck in my hand, and I ended up putting them back. And I felt intuitively like they needed to be put back. And then you had this dolphin show up with all of these beautiful little stones in it. So I feel like I said, this might have had to do with relationship healing, something from a relationship. This can be platonic or romantic or otherwise, whatever it is, whatever sort of relationship it is, family, friends, anything. But basically, I just feel like with this specific charm, it showcases partnership or being together in that way. Sort of has sort of a soulmate vibe to it, if you believe in that. And then this is just a single sort of dolphin. But the thing is, this one is shining. It's shining its light. It's healing. It's becoming, where it can trust itself. It's really, look at how beautiful this dolphin is. It's better almost by itself. It's better after healing. It's better after learning and loving itself. And I feel like this is just a metaphor for you, because I put back the partnership and left the one very whole dolphin here. So let's go ahead and look at the charm right next to it so we can get some more context clues there, because that is the heart chakra, which does have to do with possibly relationships or relationships with yourself. It has to do with the emotional heart center of yourself, of the energy chakras. So here is the Chakra Love deck. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out all of the heart chakra cards. So give me a moment there. All right, so I pulled out all of the different heart chakra cards here, and I'm going to shuffle them up and just see what we need to know about your heart chakra here, that why this charm popped up over here by this specific dolphin, and what messages we need to know about this heart chakra for group 2. So group 2, we're looking for the heart chakra for group 2 here. Okay. Of course it would be that one. Okay, so here you have the heart chakra of self-love. Self-love. There it is. So with each of these chakra cards, they have on the back a specific stone that you can work with if you work with crystal energy this week to help with self-love and help with balancing the specific heart center. And that is rose quartz this week, so that's something to keep in mind. But it says self-love here. You can only love others as much as you love yourself. So that is so true, right? We had those 2 dolphins, and I really think you just need to heal and learn to be powerful on your own. Just, stand in your power again. Feel empowered, trusting yourself, trusting other people again, especially if you were in a manipulative relationship or a toxic relationship, one that just had a lot to do with bad communication or manipulative behavior, anything like that, any kind of if you've been in a relationship with gaslighting or anything like that. I couldn't come up with the word, so it took me a minute. I had to quickly Google it because it was bothering me. But if you are in any kind of relationship or were in a relationship of gaslighting or anything like that, that sort of keeps putting you down and making you feel like you can't trust your own mind, playing all these mind games, especially because we had that mindset is key. I feel like you're just working through healing some of that because it's not an easy process, but it is something to keep in mind. So that sort of falls here. So that was, I feel like, a big chunk that's happening over here is learning to love yourself, learning to trust yourself, and learning to just be on your own for a while. And I don't think that's such a bad idea because here in your central ring, you have the charm of the star here, and the star this is the silver star. This means you're not yet at the gold. You haven't made the gold, but you're not like at the bronze at the very beginning. Like, you've put in hard work. You're still working towards things, and maybe you'll never be at the gold in something, possibly, even if this is like, maybe if you're even competitive or working in anything like that. This just is showcasing that, we don't have to always be perfect at the gold. We have battle scars, we have wounds, we have faults, and that's okay, and it's just accepting those and accepting it, especially since we had that silver and that silver here. It's really sort of giving me that impression. Like I said earlier, you had that woman coming in possibly for helping you to learn, and she had maybe sort of a financial element to her. And then you have the finance charm, but this is the finance charm of like feeling like you're just dragging this along. Like finances are just, either it's because your career isn't something that gives you passion, or this can be just talking about how maybe this week you're just feeling like, the money is not coming in as fast as you'd like it to, or things are just slowing down there. Maybe work just isn't as fulfilling this week, and that's okay too. Because you're growing in other areas, because you have the growth charm here. This is the leaf. So you're turning a new leaf so that you can have growth. So this is changing your perspective, turning a new leaf, changing your mindset this week. So it's really working in the mind. And I think a great way to start working in the mind is you have here the charm that I think of this as like a meditative charm. This is meditation at its core. So I think it's time to learn to meditate, learn to be more mindful, learn to bring in meditative and mindful practices into your life. Even meditating for like 5 minutes a day has personally changed my life. And I think that it's something that is very easy to implement, but has so much impact for healing. So that's something maybe you could even research into or learn on this week. You also have, for me personally, these are signifiers, so this may not resonate for each of you, but for me personally, the bee signifies my mom. because she loves bees. And then this rock signifies my dad, because he picked out this rock for my charm collection, and he's sort of the rock, the stable one. So I really feel like, because they fell next to each other, this might have something to do with your parents, or have something to do with your elders in some way, your mom, your father, your guardian, anything like that in your life. Or if you are a parent, this could be something talking about that. But what's interesting to notice here is it fell on the line where there's sort of a bridge here. So it could mean that there just might be, especially if you are in a relationship with someone on a family level, because like I said, just because this partnership maybe didn't go well for some of you, it also could be that there is partnership happening here, but it's just not being communicated correctly. There's some sort of element that isn't working there, and it's time to learn to correct that this week, if that resonates for some of you. Other than that, you do have the bee, which does represent teamwork. It represents going long distances. So that can mean just like having a lot to do with the Page of Swords, is making me think of things that have to travel long distances, having to travel through the mail system, if you're sending letters, or if you're sending messages, emails, it just might take longer to get there, but it is going to be received this week. So that's something to come, that's really exciting, that's coming in. And then with the rock, like I said, it does represent being very solid, being very really building your own mountain, your own space, having boundaries set as well, especially with that self-love, having boundaries for yourself, for your emotions. That could be really prominent for you this week. Possibly even because we had those messages coming in. Like I said, these could be positive messages. But if you feel like you're getting messages from someone who is toxic in your life, because they might be coming in here, it might be showcasing to have those boundaries too. If you're getting toxic messages, just block them, block them out. I feel like we're having mixed signals here, because so many of you guys probably chose pile 2 here. Most people tend to choose pile 2 because it's in the center. So I feel like we're getting some mixed signals. So really, truly take what resonates. And I always invite you guys to look at the charms and really dive in, because there's a lot of personal messages that can come in and be triggered that might be very specific to you. But lastly, here on the moon cycles, you have before the what is this called? The last quarter moon. Had a little brain moment there. Before the last quarter moon, which is all about release, you have optimism or optimistic coming in, as well as the light bulb charm. So the light bulb means an idea, an exciting idea coming in, especially something that you're very optimistic about, and you might be releasing that into the universe. You might be manifesting that forward. You might be communicating that as well, especially with that Page of Swords energy. You might be just communicating it. But this is the Sagittarius charm. So that might mean that you are a Sagittarius in your sun, moon, or rising sign. Or someone near you having to do with this reading could also be involved. But because it fell this way, it has more of the oracle message of Sagittarius, which is optimism here, as well as clarity and directness. So I really feel like you just have some sort of idea that might be popping up this week, possibly something you've been researching recently, and it's time to just unlock that key and dive into some of that self-love learning, dive into maybe even financial learning, and make sure to keep those boundaries up against people who are toxic, but letting in the messages that are optimistic. So it's just sort of, you're going to have to sort of play around with that there, depending on which one resonates. So with all of that said, I'm going to do a quick recap here for your week group 2. Like I said, there are definitely split messages here, but at the core, no matter what, if you are in a relationship or outside of a relationship, there is a very big poignant message on self-love, making sure that even if you're in a relationship, that communication is there, and that it's really at the core and at that key of learning and communicating this week. If you are not in a relationship, or you're healing from a past relationship possibly, or even just a relationship with yourself too, this can be a relationship with yourself that you're having to learn about your own behaviors possibly too. You're gaining trust back in the universe with your spiritual guides, as well as just healing And you might be even learning on healing practices this week. Also, messages can be coming in terms of packages, and things are turning back in your favor. So don't worry, things have happened. It's been a tough year, but it's turning around. It's turning slowly for some of us, but it is turning around. There is that shining light coming in. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please be sure to let me know by giving a like to this video. I really do appreciate it, because it does let me know that you enjoyed this reading and really does help the channel. So thank you seriously to each of you who have liked the video. Also, please be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know how you felt and resonated with each of these charms, and how maybe if you are one side or the other to the different split parts of this reading. I'd love to know. And lastly, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, as I do weekly readings like this every single Monday, as well as timeless and monthly readings that you can check out after this one as well. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in the next one. Best of luck for the week, and bye. Hello, Group 3. If you've decided to choose the rope as well as this little mini wand, and lastly the rune of Dagaz, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to set them down over here for you for your guys' reading so that you can see it. But I also do want to just state here that I'm not going to actually be utilizing these in the reading, as you already were able to see them and make the choice there. So it wasn't really revealed. But I do want to say that this might resonate with some of you, so I still want to at least educate you a bit on this specific rune, and that is the rune of Dagaz. So I'm using my trusty little handbook that I made, and it says Dagaz here, evolution or day. Restart, opposites, day/night, new cycles, growth/increase, reflection, changes, dawn, and awakenings. So this is all about sort of the two sides of the coin, and evolving from one to the other. So that is sort of a message for each of you in case you chose this pile based on the rune. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as the Celtic Lenormand deck, the spellcasting oracle, and today we're actually going to be utilizing this Line Strider deck for the first time on the channel, which is really exciting. It took me a while to connect to this deck because I got it all the way back in July actually, and it just took me a few months to really connect and really ground to this deck, but I'm really ready and excited to utilize it here for you guys today. So let's go ahead and see what messages are coming in for your week, Group 3. So Group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for your week, Group 3. Anything we need to know, anything we need to keep in mind. For Group 3, any big energy or changes or shifts in awareness for Group 3's week ahead. The week ahead for Group 3. Group 3. Oh, there we go. All right, so we have here the King of Pentacles. Let's see what else you have coming in. So Group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 3's week ahead. Group 3. Ooh, you also have here the King of Cups. So you have both the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. A lot of higher masculine energy, though it does not have to be. So let's see your last tarot message here. So Group 3. Group 3. And you also have the Empress. So you have both the King of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Empress. So a lot of very high energy in terms of people or archetypes. So let's go ahead and see your next message here with the Celtic Lenormand deck. So let's let's see here. You also have here the sun. And with the Celtic Lenormand deck, it does showcase a number at the top. So you have the number 31 here for the sun, as well as the Ace of Pentacles, in case those resonate for each of you. Those could be birthdays or specific parts having to do with the week, anything like that. A name, a number. So let's see your last message here for your week, group 3. So group 3, or your last card message, that is. So group 3, ooh, okay. So you have travel here. So there's travel with the crescent moon, and there is sort of an Empress energy happening here. And then you also have talent. So there you go, those are your 2 there. And lastly, before we do the charms later on in the reading, so stay tuned for those later on. Those are always really fun to see. We're going to do a watercolor affirmation here. So group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3's week ahead. All right, so here you have trust your intuition. Definitely was seeing that with the Empress card there. All right, so let's go ahead and start unpacking a bit of this reading. What I see right off the bat is you have the sun, which is all about sort of if you believe, if you believe in sort of the masculine and feminine energy, there's like one and there's sort of a bit of both of it in each of us. Like the divine masculine and divine feminine energy, those don't have to be gender specific. They can just be, there's a bit of each of it in each of us. And sometimes we borderline on more of one and less of the other. It could be a really good mix or a balance, whatever it is for each of you. But what I'm really seeing is a lot of the masculine side of the energy, which is a lot of the more progressive side of the energy versus the intuitive side of the energy, the more go, 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 more action versus reflection. And I think it's about finding that balance this week because you have the sun, which is a masculine energy, mixed with both of these king cards, and then you have the Empress energy with the trust your intuition, this one which has sort of that more feminine energy, and then the talent sort of falling between for me here. So I really do see that you're just working towards balancing that energy of both action and reflection, which is great. It's really good to have both in your life. So let's go ahead and get more into the nitty gritty here. So you have travel and then the sun. So you might be traveling, especially to some of you who are in the northern hemisphere right now, like me and myself. You might be traveling to a place that is warmer, that you're getting more sunshine. You might be traveling, some people I know travel for the holidays to get more sunshine or to go to a place that's warmer, that doesn't have as much of snow or the cold weather. So that might be something that's happening, but you also might be just traveling in general. So you might just be traveling more in the daytime. There might just be a specific place that you're looking for, or there's something on the horizon that you want to travel to. So this can be traveling in something really large, like a big journey, or it can be just traveling to that place that you haven't gone to in a while, a store you haven't gone to in a while. So there is travel definitely on your list here. And that travel might have to do with a talent. So you might be, I don't particularly love the word talent because I do feel that talent has a lot to do with people thinking that there isn't hard work that goes in, that it's just something that's innate. But there usually is, a level possibly of innate, but there is also a lot of hard work that goes in. A dancer isn't a dancer because they always just knew from, 1 year old. 1 year old, they had to put a lot of work and effort in, just like this dancer here. So there might be a talent, or just something that you're really good at, a hobby that you're really good at that you want to master and be better at this week. Maybe you're traveling to take more classes, maybe even traveling in a different way. So you might be even traveling by taking online classes. So that could be something that's going on. But what I think is interesting here is you do have the sun here, but then to go along with it, you have the moon. And that moon is both the same moon here. So you have the crescent moon, which has been very much in both both in group 3 now and group 1, so that might be something interesting to look into. But here you have the exact same crescent moon of the waxing crescent, so that's all about starting something here in the northern hemisphere and ending something possibly in the southern hemisphere, because the way that the crescent moon flips depending on where you are in the world. So I really do feel you are starting something, you're creating something, you're working towards a goal, and you're really grasping for it. And what I think is also interesting with the divine masculine and feminine energy, it maybe is something that people see as very gender neutral, or something that is going to create balance in your life. Maybe you're looking for balance because you have both the sort of sunny energy and the moon energy being held in her hands. Do you see that? And it's sort of coming full circle here in her mind. So I really do see that things are coming full circle. There might be something that just needs to come full circle to create balance in your life. You also just might be very social this week. You might be traveling to be more social because you have so many people showcasing here. And the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles can be showcasing. You might be talking to a boss. You might be talking to a very respected person within your family or within your friend group. You also have the King of Cups, which is someone who is more fluid in their emotions. So someone who is more on the feminine masculine side there. So that these are all really hints, because honestly the most of the context that we're getting from this reading is coming from the travel and talent cards, and less so with court cards. They can be tricky because they will tell you sort of information on the court, but they won't be telling you much on the specifics of the week, just the people that might be coming in. So you might have that respected person or that person that is more fluid with their emotions coming together. And then you also have the Empress energy. And the Empress is all about feminine energy, having to give. There is that child sort of energy. So if you're a mother, there could be just that you're traveling, possibly even to help your kids with their exciting talents, or maybe you're taking care of yourself. Maybe you're doing something that's just for yourself this week, because you give and you give and you give, and you don't always get a lot for yourself. So this even could be if you are a mother or even a father in this sense, because we have both of those masculine cards, that it's time to take up some of those talents for yourself, something that maybe you've been holding off on, and trust your intuition on that, because that's really important here. But I do see that there's just something that you're wanting to move towards, either spiritually, something you want to move towards in terms of something you want to learn, or for some of you, it can be literally traveling somewhere with these types of people. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to your charms, group 3, so we can get some more information on your week. So group 3 here. Let's see your charms. Group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3. Any information on group 3 week ahead. Okay. So I did actually have this one fall on me, so yep, was not a part of the reading. It's always good to know, so I look into that. But I am going to go ahead and just sort out these real quick so that we can start looking more into your reading. So, okay. Let's see here what we've got going on, because a lot of them fell together. So, right. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in here. A lot of it fell towards the bottom of the board, or casting cloth here, so I'm just going to go ahead and zoom right up to those so that we can get a better look here. But let's start here in your focus ring first. So in your focus ring, actually I'm gonna double back on that. We're actually gonna start with this charm here, which is a chakra charm. It is the heart chakra, which group 2 also did. So I already conveniently have the heart chakra cards from this chakra love deck out and ready to go for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and look into what energy is coming into that center, that heart center of yours, that energy center that you need to balance this week, or something that was just poignant that needed to be stated with the other charms around. So I want to at least get that context in there. So here you have forgiveness, and you have the heart chakra here with malachite, which looks like this. It's a very beautiful stone, although never put it in water or it'll turn into a toxic gas, which I think is really interesting that it would fall on this one all about forgiveness, because it can be something that's very beautiful, but then there could be something that happens that there is, regret, and you feel like you need to forgive yourself, or there's something that has happened in the past that you need to forgive, either yourself or someone else, and usually that is going to help heal the situation, heal that heart center. But you'll find freedom in forgiveness. So that's a beautiful message there for you guys with forgiveness there. I'm trying to find a spot where you can see it. And I think there was a reason why I really wanted to get that out, and that is because you have the charm of an ex. So this can be an ex as in like a relationship version of an ex, but this can also mean toxicity in your life. This can mean a platonic relationship, so a family or a friend who just didn't really work out, or things need to be resolved there. And you have the letter I. So there is the letter I here, and then also the very heavy charm. This is the charm. It doesn't really look heavy, but it is a very heavy charm. So this makes me think of something that's been really heavy on your heart, especially with the I. This can represent someone's name or someone within the situation, but I also see with the I, there's no I in team, and if it was a relationship, no matter if it's platonic or otherwise, there just might have been too much like narcissism, or possibly just that you felt like you needed to forgive yourself, possibly for making something very heavy in the relationship. Maybe it was having something to do with your side of the relationship, and you're possibly even looking for forgiveness this week. But you do have the feather, which showcases communication with this person. This means that you could be communicating with someone, maybe less directly, but you are communicating. So I feel like forgiveness can come in that way. And then you also have the key of logic, which represents a logical step forward. So something less about, not emotional, but that you are making a decision with this person to move forward that will be better for both of you. Like I said, some of you might be traveling away from this person, not necessarily physically, but you might be just traveling emotionally away from someone. You're ready to move on. You're ready to make a new start somewhere else. And to do that, you might need that forgiveness. You might be looking for that forgiveness this week, because that is a big part of it. And you might even have to initiate that communication, especially with that I. So you also had the Empress, right? So we have the almost like queen or empress key. So we have another key showcasing. So there is a lot of key energy, which represents things unlocking for you. You're unlocking your mind. You're unlocking a space that's been sort of held back for a while. And the Empress energy is going to help you do that, which means you're going to be trusting your intuition. Things are going to be coming to light, because you also have the Sun, which isn't just masculine energy or just about, traveling during the daylight. It also does have to do with clarifying things, making things more clear, because the sun it'll put the rays out there. There's no hiding in the sun. Things are out in the open, possibly being more vulnerable, but you have what I think is interesting, 3 different bobby pins showing up, and I don't think I've ever had all 3 follow sort of in a succession here. So I feel like maybe what had been miscommunicated or become sort of toxic or just needed forgiveness in this relationship. So that doesn't mean that you left someone. It doesn't mean that you aren't in a current relationship with this person, and it could be very healthy. That sort of just depends on how it resonates for each of you, but there just might be something that needs forgiven. And that might come down to because you have possibly been too selfless lately. Like I said, maybe you're taking up a hobby for yourself this week. Maybe you're taking up a hobby because your kids have been taking up possibly too much of your time. Not because you don't want to be a mother, but maybe you just need to create those boundaries that you need. create some space for yourself. And I think that's important because that selflessness is being showcased here. So you've been very selfless and not selfish enough for yourself. There's not enough I happening this week. There's not enough just for you happening this week, and not enough, self-care, self-love, treating yourself this week. So you also have here, which is why I thought more of that talent card again. You have that talent card popping up sort of in another way, because you have the charm of imagine, dream, and believe. And this is the charm of like having a passion for something. So this can be a passion within your work, or it can be a passion of just something you really wanted to start and dive into, something more on that wand energy, something of a talent, or something that you're just really excited, a hobby that you want to take up, something like that you're ready to balance out. Because right now it is not balanced. Right now, it's overwhelming maybe even to start, that you just don't even know how to start, or to open yourself up to have some of that energy, make a little bit more room for yourself. Expansion is happening within this charm. So you're expanding your worldview, you're expanding what you can take up in life. And I think that's really exciting, because you have more Empress energy happening again here with the Minnie Mouse charm. And then you also have the charm of culture. So this could be possibly culture that's been holding you back, maybe some sort of thing there, or maybe the dream that you're really excited about, the talent that you're really excited about, or this new hobby or passion that you're enthusiastic about, is something that once you put that, like, you are an Empress, you got this, putting and empowering yourself to go after that, having even this Aries energy, which I'll talk on more in a moment, that's when you might even be able to leap and bound over cultural things that have been holding you back, your own personal home life culture too. So it doesn't have to be something major on like like your ancestors or your roots kind of culture, but more like society's culture around you, your social culture, your groups, the way that people communicate, the way that, like, there's specific rules within people, that we just innately continue to follow. And I think it's your time to step away from that, reevaluate that, and start going after what you actually want. This is sort of what I'm getting mostly, is this is a selfish week for you in a good way. It's time to forgive yourself for letting yourself have time, for letting yourself do things that you want to do without all those boundaries, without those people possibly holding you back, without toxic behaviors holding you back, even toxicity within yourself. Because maybe there's someone that just hasn't been listening to what your passions are, or what you really want to achieve, or what you want to go after. Possibly someone to do with the letter J, possibly someone to do more with those king energies of the King of Cups or the King of Pentacles there, but which also might be an Aries, because you have the Aries coming in. But Aries has to do with courage, being courageous. But I feel like you might be an Aries yourself, or someone is an Aries or fire sign in their sun, moon, or rising. And that's something to keep in mind, because I just feel that you are ready to ground down into a new passion, something that you're really excited about, to forgive yourself for letting that come in, and to ground into that. So with all of that said, group 3, that's all I have there for you today. I'm going to go ahead and do a recap for you here, because you had a lot of different things coming in at the beginning about divine masculine and divine feminine energy being sort of sorted out here between the Empress and all of these kings. But I do think once you put that balance back together, because there is an imbalance, there's something that you feel like you have to forgive yourself about, possibly because there's been just so many missed opportunities for you. I just feel like there's something that you really wanted to do, something you wanted to clarify, something you wanted to go after and have passion in. Like, the sun is very passionate and an action moon. And it's just putting and trusting your intuition that you can have that. You can have all that. You can travel. You can go towards a new goal. Like, I don't want to be that person that's just like, oh yeah, butterflies, happy. It's so easy. It's going to be so perfect for you. But this really is a week about being selfish, about letting yourself have things and going forth on them. This isn't a a week about putting yourself down, about feeling small, about feeling like you have to do something for everybody else. And it doesn't mean that you can't look after other people. I'm not saying to abandon your kids if you have kids. I'm just saying that you need to give yourself more of that time for yourself, or you're going to drive yourself crazy. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please empower yourself this week. I'm so excited to see and hear from you guys in the comments down below about what charms are resonating with you, and maybe if you're an Aries, or if any of this energy has something to do with an ex, possibly. Whatever you feel comfortable talking about. I'm always curious and really do appreciate the feedback. Also, please be sure to like this video if you liked it by hitting the like button. I really do appreciate it, as it lets me know that you not only liked this reading, but also I appreciate it because it does help drive these videos to continue to grow and flourish, and this channel to flourish. So thank you for each of you who have already liked the video. And lastly, if you're interested, I do weekly readings like this every single Monday, as well as timeless readings and readings on your monthly blessings. So if you're interested in any of that, you can check that out after this video. And you can also check them out by being sure to subscribe so that you can join this community and hit the notification bell so that you can continue to stay up to date and not miss out on each of these fun weekly readings. So with all of that said, I will leave you with that. And I will see you guys in the next one. Wishing you the best for your week. So much empowerment, so much excitement for you guys. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.